So it's been a minute since I've been able to make a video, and here I am. I'm making one. I think it's been a couple months actually, and time flies. Um, I work in the law enforcement field, and I think like any other department, we're well, not severely, but we're understaffed right now, and a lot of overtime, a lot of extra work. So the paychecks are nice, but the home life is sporadic and not what you would like it to be. But I tell myself that this too shall pass, and it usually does. Yeah, you have your lulls, you have it when you have more people than you need, and then you have it where you need to hire like five people like right frickin' now. So, but unfortunately, in my field, you gotta have certain qualifications and jump through certain hoops, and seems like a lot of people lately are been getting disqualified. So that sucks. So if you're looking at the title, I'm going to show you a Beretta. Um, I am an enormous Beretta fan. I was introduced to the Beretta out of high school, going into the Marine Corps, fell in love with it. Obviously, like all the other guys in my generation, loved Lethal Weapon, loved Die Hard. So before I even joined the Marines, I knew what the Beretta was, and I just thought it was the coolest looking gun. And when I finally got it in my hands, it validated all those thoughts. So the first gun I bought when I turned 21 was a Beretta 92 FS, and it's been a long love affair ever since. I was going through my pictures and my records of all the Beretta 92 versions or M9 versions that I've owned, and I've owned 17 of them. And that's not just because I've been some crazy collector guy. It's because I've competed with the Beretta for over 20 years. IDPA. Um, I think at one time I had four Berettas that were tricked out exactly the same. Just standard 92G models that, I've learned to do trigger jobs on and change the sights out on, and um, just do all kinds of different stuff to do G decocker conversions. So I'm very well versed in the Beretta. I'm not going to say I'm Ernest Langdon or anything like that, but um, if you gave me your stock Beretta, I think you'd be happy with what I gave you back without really putting any parts into it. Just working on with what's there. So here's my Beretta I'm going to show you today, and there's other videos on this gun. There's nothing super rare about this particular Beretta or anything like that, but it is the 92G Brigadier Tactical that Wilson Combat. Gun is empty. Wilson Combat offered, I think they started offering it in 2015 or 16, and they just ceased offering it, I think, early this year or late last year. So you can't get these anymore through Wilson. There are still some new in box ones, like I see in Gunbroker, that are left over, and the prices have gone up a bit. If I remember right, I think I paid back in 2016, this was like $1,350, I think. And that came with the action tune, which is what they call the trigger job, and the mag guide here, those were two extra things you had to kind of pay extra for. So other than that, it's basically a M9A1 lower with a Brigadier upper. It is the G conversion, and has the dovetail front sight, battle sight rear, flush cut reverse crown barrel, oversized checkered mag release, some checkering on the back, checkering on the front. This one comes with a rail, which I'm not crazy about. And this is the original finish. The only things I've done to this gun is a couple new recoil springs and a new trigger return spring. Other than that, this gun's pretty much the way I got it. The trigger job on this gun, I don't know why, but it's the best trigger I've ever felt on a Beretta, and that includes the ones I've worked on myself and other Berettas that I've sent to Wilson. Of those 17 Berettas I referred to earlier, I am down to 4 now. I had Elite 1s, Elite 2s, Elite 1A, Vertex. I mean, I've had every freaking Beretta model outside of a 92 Combat, which was a really cool model that Had like a comp, and it had the 1911 style levers that you're seeing more on the Berettas now. But yeah, I mean, I was big time into Berettas. So I'm down to 4 now. I have this one. I have 2 other stock 92Gs that I sent to Wilson, and they did a bunch of work on. And then I have an M9A1 that I've never done anything with. It's brand new in the box, just sitting in the safe. Because at some point I'm gonna get the Beretta bug again. I'm gonna start working on one, and I'll probably, give it to a friend or something like that. So yeah, this one's got an amazing trigger. The double action is about 6 pounds. Single action is about 3.2 pounds, if I remember right. The reset, is, let's look at it here. It's good. I mean, for a Beretta, you're never going to get a 1911 style reset on a Beretta because of this little piece right here, the firing pin block. That's what makes that travel right there. It's got to clear that firing pin block out of the way. So you're never going to get a trigger that's going to reset like right here. It's just not going to do it. So call that a downfall of the Beretta if you want, but I mean, I know guns that have way worse trigger resets than this. A stock SIG has a worse reset than a Beretta, unless it has the SRT. So I've trying to do a round count remembrance on this gun, and like I said in previous videos, people always, I think, tend to exaggerate their round count. So I'm trying to be modest on this, and I figured it out. It's probably about 14,000 rounds. I've actually used this particular gun in a class with Ken Hackathorn and 2 different classes with Larry Vickers. So whatever, I don't remember the exact name of it. It was like his pistol 1 and 2. And I mean, that was a couple thousand rounds right there. So, and I can only remember 3 or 4 malfunctions with this gun. And 3 of them were just light primer strikes. So I think that was the ammo. And believe it or not, on this gun, I had a stovepipe, which is hard to believe because the Beretta is really hard to get a stovepipe on because of how open that ejection port is. But I had a stovepipe with 1 round, and it was aluminum blazer brass. So, I don't know. You could say, stop using cheap ammo. But that's the only 4 malfunctions I've had on this gun. It just goes and goes and goes. And like I said, I've replaced the recoil spring a couple times. But this gun is hefty. The Brigadier slide makes it heavier, than a standard Beretta. Nothing crazy, but it's beefy, for a 9mm. The finish on it has held up pretty well. I'm gonna say, I mean, it's been in and out of Kydex, mostly. I have a G-code battle belt system, whatever the hell you want to call it, with a Kydex that I've been running this out of for probably 4 or 5 years now. And the finish, it's held up well. This gun may go back to Wilson at some point. I might get it refinished. The front sight's going dead on me. It has a date code of 2016, so it's 8 years old. It still shines, but it's probably 40% of what it should be. And I'll probably just have them clean it up, maybe throw some of the silicone springs in it. Maybe a new set of grips. I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. That's probably a couple years down the road. I'm just going to keep running this thing and shooting the piss out of it until it doesn't shoot anymore. So, yeah. Beretta 92G Brigadier Tactical. What a great freaking gun this has been for me. I've actually carried it on duty sometimes, and then you get new brass in who says, no, you got to carry, the SIG P229, which we carry, and then you got to carry a Glock. And I still carry this on like admin training days, and I qualify with it every year for an off-duty carry. But yeah, it's not seeing much time in a duty belt anymore. So, or a duty holster, I should say. Which is a shame, but it is what it is. I don't compete IDPA as much anymore either. One, because of work, like I started this video out with, and I'm just getting older, and to be honest with you, I just it's not as enticing as it used to be. I still like to shoot guns a lot, but the whole rigmarole of going through and registering and going out to the shoot site and waiting in line for 30 people to shoot the scenario in front of you, my patience is growing thin. So I used to do probably 15 matches a year, and now I'm probably doing 4 or 5. So it is what it is. I'm not too worried about it. So I'll show maybe some other Berettas further down the road. This is currently my favorite Beretta. Like I said, I have 2 others that Wilson did work on, and they did excellent work on. But this is still my favorite. Just something about it just feels right in the hand. Shoots good. That's about it. We got Mr. Grimminger back there, my newest figure I'm going to show. That's Mr. Jacob Grimminger. He was never like any high-ranking Nazi party member. He held the called the Bloemfane or Blunfane. It was the blood flag from the beer hall putsch. And he was kind of just one of the ceremonial guys. Whenever you see like old World War II videos of like Hitler, and he's they're doing parades in front of him, and he's furling the people's flags, you always see Grimminger back there holding up the Bloemfane, I think it's called. And it's just the flag, and he was kind of more of a ceremonial figure than any kind of actual combat or anything like that. So that's Jacob Grimminger. I won a couple more guns on Gunbroker this weekend. You ever bet on guns and then, or auction, or I'm sorry, not bet, but bid. You ever bid on guns and then you get an email all of a sudden stating, hey, you won. It's like, holy crap. I never thought that price was going to hold up. So I won a couple of SIGs. So I just sent the payments out, and they're coming. They should be here Monday or Tuesday. And the funniest part about it is both of the guns I won, I've already got, I think, 2 of each of them. I've got a problem. But they're just old, rare SIGs. One of them is going to be another one of these. This is a SIG P232. I won a 2-tone version of this gun in like brand new condition. And I stole it, so I'm very happy. In fact, I could probably double my money on it. I don't know how I won this gun, but I did with the price that I put in there. So even a blind squirrel gets a nut or something like that. So once again, me rambling on. I don't know what my next video will be. I think I'm going to do a couple long guns, maybe a couple SBRs, the pistols, or maybe I'll show some of the new pistols I just won. And I've got possibly an EDC X9 coming my way, a Wilson Combat. I'm going to be maybe trading for that gun. So we'll see if I get that. If I do, I will show it. The only reason I'm going to get that gun is because it's a non-railed version, and it's in pretty good shape. And I've never had a X pattern Wilson Combat. With all the Wilsons I've owned, I've never tried the X pattern, so I kind of want to give it a try and see if I like it. All right, well, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.